Welcome to the Mailvalet training videos. This video covers using the email form to compose new emails and the email form functions to operate on emails that are being composed, viewed, forwarded, or where a reply is being composed. To open a new email, tap on the New Mail button in the main window, as you see here. This will bring up a blank email form which contains the usual email elements. There are three ways to enter all of the recipient addresses for the to, CC, and BCC fields. The first option is to directly type in the full email address. So for example, I could type in johnqpublic@emailserver.com to type in the full address directly. And if we decide at some point we don't want the address we've entered, we can erase what we have entered quickly by swiping in the text field to the left, as you see here. And then we can re-enter with the new correct address. That applies also to the CC and BCC fields. Another option is to enter in a partial recipient address and then select a full address from the search pop-up that appears when we start typing. So for instance, I could just put in John, or just part of John, and notice that John Public is one of our iPad contacts that shows up immediately. We can then tap on that and get the address out there right away. Still another option is to tap on the plus button to the right of either the to, the CC, or BCC fields to select a recipient from your iPad contacts directly, and then tap on your selection. So for example, if I wanted to add more to addresses, I could tap on the plus button, and then all of my contacts stored on the iPad will show up here, and I can tap to enter them, and they will appear immediately. I can then tap in one of the other fields, such as the courtesy copy field, tap on plus, tap on some other entry, tap on BCC if I wish, tap on something there, so you can add them that quickly. Okay, the subject then is just typed in directly, as is always the case, my subject. Attachment files are added by tapping on the plus button next to the attachments field, and then there are four possible sources of attachment files: from your iPad's camera roll or photo albums, from files you have stored online at Dropbox.com, from attachment files which have already been added into Mailvalet via other received emails that contain attachments, and by using the open-in function from an external app that's installed on your iPad, which can be used to export a file from the other app into Mailvalet as a file attachment. And we will illustrate the use of each of these methods of adding an attachment. Let's take a look first at using the camera roll. So we'll tap on the plus button next to attachments, and you see the options that come up that we can choose from for sources. We'll choose first attachment from photo albums by tapping on it. Tap on our photos and then select a photo by tapping on it. And just wait for a moment. And then you'll see that not only do we get a file name in attachments imagefile.png, but we also have in our scrollable view below the email an icon which is also for that same image file. If I want to, I can long press on that icon and then select several options for what I've just attached. I can view that image, as you see here. I can tap out here to cancel it, or tap the cancel button, long press again. And there are other options as well, which we won't try and illustrate right now, to open that image in another application, remove it if we made a mistake, or hide, and then we can later make reappear the attachment icons if we want to see more. Well, let's go ahead and demonstrate that, hiding the attachments. We'll shrink that scrollable view down and then leave a small button at the bottom where we can tap on it and bring that right back again. Okay, that illustrates using the camera roll as a source of attachments. Okay, let's tap on the plus button again, and this time we'll select an attachment from Dropbox. Now, because this is a video taken from the iOS simulator, we don't have Dropbox installed here. If we did, we would get a list immediately that would pop up where you see this installation of Dropbox option. But it would go directly to the person's Dropbox account and list the files, and they could simply select a file to use as an attachment. It would then create an icon, as you saw previously, in this email, and that icon could then be viewed, and all the other options could be applied, just as we have illustrated previously. So that's another option. We'll tap outside, or we'll tap on cancel to close that. Okay, and then now let's look at something else. Let's suppose that we had a previous incoming email. Let's just show an example of it. Let's get out of this for a minute. Let's close this. Go back and look at our inbox. And let's say that earlier we were looking at some of our other emails. Oops. And we tapped on one, saw an image that we had viewed, long pressed here, and view, say, Washington Bridges.ping, and an image that we wanted to pass on to a friend. And so we will close that, finish viewing the email. And of course, the easiest way of doing this would be just to forward this email on to someone else. But suppose we didn't do that, and suppose that we went on to create a new email, and then we thought about that again, that we'd like to add that attachment to it. So a way that we can do that is, again, is to tap on attachments, tap on attach from local files, and we already know that it's Washington Bridge that we want, Washington Buildings, .ping that we want. So we can just select it from the previously imported email that came into us. That will put the icon back out there. I can do long press on it, look at it, and perform the other options on it, as you see. And now it's in my new email that we can use to send out to our new recipient. There is actually still even one more method that we can include images in our emails. Let's go ahead and close this out and start over with a new email. And I'd like to send this to John Q. Public. Go ahead and tap on that entry. Just give it a subject. My new email will do nicely. And let's say I want to start my message to John. And here is the first message line. And we go on with our message. I'll go on down a few pages, and I'll just type an example. And here is some text, some message text after our pasted image. And now what I would like to do is to go look in my either the photos or camera roll and pick up one of the images there and then just paste it in line directly in the image here. So I'm going to hit my home key. Oops. 1 second. Hit my home key. And let's go back and look at our camera roll for a second. Go ahead and select that. I've got an image up here. Now I'm going to do a long press on this and select copy to copy this to the clipboard. Now I'm going to hit home key again, double click home key, and go back to the mail application where I have my email open. And I'm going to pick a spot right in the middle here and then do a long press and select paste. And as you'll see here, the first few message lines show up here, and we now have the photo attached in the middle, and there's the text that was afterwards, and it's now below the pasted text. So that shows still the additional way of including inline text images. Okay, so another thing that I would like to show you while we're here is the Mail View button. When we have emails open that we're composing, or emails that have come in that we're viewing, there are other functions that we can apply to the open email. We can tap on Mail View, and there's a number of things that we can do with that email. We can expand the email form that you see here to full screen so we can see a lot more of it at one time. And then there is a corresponding shrink function once we are full screen that can come right back to this. We can also save the email to drafts. We can put it in the trash. We can AirPrint it. We can immediately send the email either here or back from the main menu, as you can see from the pointer. Or we can update email profiles, which we'll cover in a later session. Or just simply close the open email form, and then there's a convenience item to tap on just to close this dialog as well. So I would like to illustrate right now expanding the email form. We'll select that, and you'll see that this goes immediately to a full screen email where we can see the entire image without having to scroll right and left to see it. If we had icons down, if we had additional attachments down here, you could then still apply the long press to bring up the options to view that attached image. If this is not inline attached, but other attachments, if they were there, we can use that same long press function we just demonstrated earlier for each of the icons here. And this would be a scrollable list as well, which is also available. Okay, once you're in the full screen, there are a number of the individual mail view functions that are available right from here. One is to save this to the drafts folder, to send it to trash, to AirPrint it, or to send it right from here. In this case, I would just like to illustrate the shrink function, which will take us right back to where we were in the original view. And of course, again, the options here, if we want to go ahead and send it out, we can tap on send here, or we can tap on mail view and send it from here, either way. So there's a number of different functions that are available. And one more thing I'll illustrate while we're here is just saving this to drafts. I'll go ahead and tap on that. Let's close our inbox and let's open drafts and tap on that. And you'll notice that the email we just built has not been sent yet, but it has been saved in drafts just as we created it, and it is ready to send from here as well. And that will conclude this video.